Hello everybody, welcome to Lancaster Archery, and today I'm going to talk about my win hard recurve case. I've owned this now for a little over a year. So I just want to do a review after a year and some worth of use, and how it's holding up and what's going on with it. I am first going to start off with a little story. I was coming back from the Gator Cup a little bit ago, and they had an issue at the airport. There was a lot of weather coming in, and this bow case sat on the tarmac for like 6 hours. It was raining a lot, and when I finally got home and opened it up, I found out that inside everything got wet. Now there wasn't like a puddle, a pool of water in the case or anything, but everything was definitely wet, and it was more than just like a humidity change. It was definitely like soaked. So I just want to put that out there that this case may be like water resistant, but it's definitely not waterproof by any means. And I think that's important to cover, and it's not something that I maybe fully realized when I maybe first did my review. I did double check though on Lancaster and Win's site, and both of them don't indicate that it is any kind of waterproof or anything like that. So at least they're not, they are advertising correctly. They're just not telling you that it can stop some water. But if this case is sitting outside for a little while in a good rainstorm, your stuff will probably get wet in there. Of course there is variables to that, and I don't know how they were storing this case on the tarmac. If it was in the bottom of the pile, I'm guessing it was probably on the top of the pile, I don't know. But I figured it was important to include that in this 1 year review, because somebody may leave their phone and stuff in there, and if you leave it during a rainstorm, your electronics could get damaged. And now I'm going to move down to the wheels. The wheels themselves are still in good shape. There's no major gashes in them or anything like that. I've rolled this across sand, grass, rocks, pretty much you name it. A whole multitude of surfaces. The only thing that I'm running into now after a year is that sometimes, depending on the surface, one of the wheels seems to lock up. Now I don't know if it's because I got something in the wheel or not, but on particular surfaces it does seem to kind of just lock up. So it's just something to keep in mind, but it's definitely not like a really big deal, because it's still doing its job and it's not that hard to roll. Other than that, the outside of the case is doing great. The airlines managed to not to put any holes in this. Of course, the material, the ABS it's made out of, seems to be pretty well designed. A lot of stuff kind of just glances off of this. It's got some scrapes and such. All the bumpers are still intact. The handles and such still work, which that's really good. Even the TSA locks are still in great working order. This handle works well, and it's still spring-loaded, which is nice. I've had cases in the past where their spring-loaded handle will actually stop, the spring will break, so it'll stop being spring-loaded, and it won't automatically flap down flush with the case. So nice bonus there that is all in working condition still. And you know, the case hasn't been bent or anything. It still closes nice, as long as I don't stuff it with too much stuff. And now let's head into the inside of the case. So now that we're on the inside of the case, some things I want to hit on is this flappy part here. It works well, but I did manage to crack one of these, I think it was that buckle. And it still closes shut, but sometimes it's a little iffy. What happened is that I ended up putting something, I guess that was probably metal, near that buckle part when it was closed, and when I put everything together, and from the airlines, you know, and the bumping around the case gets and everything inside, you know, moves around and such, I managed to crack it. Not really a big deal, it still works fine, but you know, don't overstuff your case like I do, and you should be in business. My design for cutting out this section of foam here that's supposed to hold arrows is still working out fantastic. You know, using that arrow tube to protect the arrows, I think it's still rocking it. My only change would be is that if I were to do this again, I would cut out this section up top here and not this one, because you have pockets here, and if you put something that, you know, that's not really paper, that's not flat in these two pockets, when you go and put it up, it hits into the arrow tube. So I kind of nerfed the usefulness of these pockets, unless I want to put like a string in there or just some, you know, tournament paperwork. But overall, still a pretty good design, and it's held up. These bags have been great the entire time. I'm not using the Win and Win bags. I have my own bags. Actually, there's a riser in here. Yeah, I'm using all my own stuff. I did not find these straps. You know, I probably should use them, but I don't know. I didn't find them the most useful. Basically, what they're supposed to do is supposed to help you tie down your equipment. The problem is I usually have them buried by the time I fill this case up. So then it's a hassle trying to get them out to actually, like, you know, tie down everything and lock it all in, because yeah, it's supposed to work something like this. There we go. Oh, I actually broke one. Whoops. All right. I don't use it anyway, so it wasn't really a big deal, and I stuffed this pretty much to the gills. Oh, but on that note of stuffing this to the gills, you know, 2 full setups, I still have like a few pounds leeway to hit the 50-pound limit. I'm usually somewhere around 46 pounds with 2 full setups. So for anybody that wants an idea out there on, you know, on that, you can definitely pull it off with this case. It'll be tighter. But you know, I also pack a ton of other stuff. Like this is several pounds worth of just tools, and then just everything else I put in here. That pretty much wraps up the inside of this case. I'm really happy with how this is held up inside as well. You know, I was a little concerned about maybe the pockets or something, you know, getting real beat up, but the zippers on them have held well, and you know, it's doing its job like it's supposed to. All right, so that pretty much wraps up this 1-year anniversary review of this Win and Win hard recurve bow case. Overall, I'm still very happy with it. If you ask me today, you know, would I buy another one if this one breaks? Probably, because you can't really beat its overall weight, its size. You know, the handle's nice and convenient. Since it is smaller, I don't get asked so many questions at the airport, which is nice, because everybody always jumps to it's a firearm, and this kind of avoids that. People still ask me, you know, people for the airline still ask me, you know what's in the case, but I don't get asked as often, and they're not as prone to automatically throwing it in with all the firearms when I'm flying somewhere in the US. So that's a bonus. Other than that, yeah, this case works, and I think it's a good value for what you're getting. I do put it through, the ringer, but I think overall I'm not abusive of my equipment. I expect my equipment to do its job, what it's designed for. I don't go out of my way to try to destroy my equipment, but at the same point in time, I'm not going to baby it because, well, it's there to protect, my real pride and joy, and that is my bow. So it should be rough and tough, and I think it's serving that purpose well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll leave links for this if you guys are looking for prices. Who knows if the prices have changed since I purchased this, but you can find out down below in the description. Other than that, hopefully you enjoyed and found this actually useful, and I will see everybody in the next video, and as always, happy shooting!